I'm Caleb.
I'm Ginette, and this is Surely Mental.
Today we're going to be talking about different coping mechanisms, what we've used in the past, what's worked, what we've struggled with, and things we would recommend. It's also the end of the year, so we're going to be touching on all that fun stuff and new things that are coming up in the future.
And what tea are you drinking, Caleb?
I am drinking Hibiscus tea by Tadin. I'm not really sure. It'll be linked in the description.
And I'm drinking Organic Everyday Detox Schisandra berry by Traditional Medicinals.
That sounds, you know what? That sounds like something that an LA influencer is drinking, and it's like, drink this, you'll lose 50 pounds a day.
It does sound like that.
All right, so cognitive reframing is a big fancy science word, but cognitive reframing is taking a negative thought and basically turning it into a positive one. So instead of like, oh, we had this huge snowstorm and now I'm stuck at home, it'll be like, oh, well, I'm safe at home because I'm not out there in the snow and in the cold where all those dangerous things can happen to me. Have you ever used cognitive reframing?
I've tried. It doesn't really work for me because I am very pessimistic in my thoughts. So like, my brain doesn't really think of it. Like, it'll just like go to like the bad things, and it'll be like, I'll try to think of something good, and then my brain's just like, no, that's a lie.
I feel like it's a skill that you learn over time too.
Mm-hmm.
Like the more you think positively, the better you'll become at thinking positive.
Yeah, like with all of these, none of them are just gonna work magically the first time you try it. Or some of them
Mhm.
might like have short term effects, but nothing's just gonna like fix all your problems the first time you try it.
Yeah, I really should plan this better. Um, Meditation and breathing techniques. Do you meditate?
I hate meditation, but I do like breathing techniques.
What's the difference?
Like, I don't like sit on the ground and like listen to calming music and like do like I don't like sit and like bring time to meditation. I just kind of like sometimes if I am like thinking badly or like I'm spiraling, I'll just start breathing deeply, and that helps calm me down. And I'm just gonna wait.
My whole family is like in the hallway talking. You said no. Why'd you ditch us? Why'd you say no?
I don't need that negative energy.
That's not negative energy. It's positive. Okay, fine. All right. So I think that meditation doesn't necessarily have to be laying or sitting on the ground, crisscross applesauce, humming or repeating phrases. I think that is what meditation is for some people, but it can be different for everybody.
Okay,
And breathing.
let's
What
take
were
it for a
you-
second. Like, it's not that I hate meditation; I hate guided meditation.
Yes. I remember we were in the psych ward
Yep.
and we had to do this. She played some like calming noises, which that was okay, right? I didn't have a problem with that. And then she started saying this story, and like we were on a beach or something. I don't remember. It was really weird, and everybody else left the group,
Yeah.
and I couldn't leave because I didn't want her to feel bad,
Anxiety.
and because it was just me and you in the room.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't really know you well at the time. So I was thinking in my head, I'm like, well, what if she's liking this? And then I leave, and the therapist is like, well, we can't do just the two of us, so we need to stop. And I didn't want to do that to you. And
No, you should have done that. Then we could have stopped.
I didn't hurt. I didn't want to hurt the other person's feelings. So I just sat there and I listened. And I remember afterwards, she left and you came up to me and you were like, that wasn't good. Like, I didn't like that. So yeah, I do remember that. I will use breathing techniques occasionally, like if I get all worked up or like angry at something, take a second to just really think and like calm down, big deep breaths.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to start meditating in the morning, but it's that kind of thing where it's like, oh, well, I want to, just like I want to work out or I want to do this, but I'm not going to actually do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like in a perfect world, but
Whenever I have like free time, it's like I feel like I can't just relax. Like I have to find something to do.
Mhm.
Like I have to like
That
there's
is actually a sign of, I'm not sure if this is true or not. I think I saw it on Instagram. So take with the information what you will. But they were talking about like, that's a sign you had almost a toxic childhood in a way because you were taught productiveness and you always have to be productive. And if you're not doing something productive, then it's a problem. Then you feel useless in a way.
mm-hmm.
So
Like
that's
I don't think
something.
I had like a toxic childhood like that, but
Well,
like
yeah,
definitely I was always like told like not told but kind of like unconsciously told, if you know what I mean. Like
yeah.
that like you always should be doing something productive and there's something that you can always be doing.
Journaling.
I love it.
I use so 2020 COVID pandemic times. I really wanted to get into bullet journaling because I had this thought in my head. I was like, if I write down something every day, I can eventually put it in a book and I'll be like Anne Frank or something. Never happened. I quit with after like 2 weeks of journaling. I can't say it helped me, but I think it's because it came to the point where I just forced myself to sit down and write something and it wasn't coming from the heart. I was
Yeah.
just doing it to like check the to-do box.
Yeah, I don't like have like a schedule for doing a journaling. Like I definitely don't journal every day. But sometimes I feel like I almost sometimes use it as an unhealthy coping mechanism because like if I have just something that's like ramming around in my head, I'll just write it all down. And then my journal
Yeah.
looks like I'm insane.
I think journaling though doesn't have to be talking about your day, talking about your feelings. It could be writing in general. It
Yeah.
could be drawing, maybe collage making, all these fun things that you can do to journal.
I put my journal down.
You just keep looking to the side.
Where did I put it? Well, that's a mystery.
Well, I will. Mine's actually right here. Oh, look at that book I'm currently reading. All right, great. That is, where did you get that? That's cool.
Yes. Like my journal like started all like writing between the lines and then like writing in the lines. And then it just got to like complete madness.
So this is my poetry book,
Ooh.
poetry journal. This is where everything comes live. I actually handmade this. I know, impressive, right? But you can see, like, I had my phrases. Like here, I would like, look at those nice, crisp
Ooh,
lines. Right?
nice.
Great. And then, there's other times where it's just a complete brain dump. So I think that no matter what your journal looks like, it can be helpful. And you have to, as hard as it can be for some people, you have to fight that perfectionist urge of like, if I don't want to journal bad or I don't want to write bad, like nobody is going to see it. Be honest with yourself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the last time I wrote in mine was October 24th.
Do you want to share what October
Oh
24th is
no.
about? No? Okay. All
It's
right.
one phrase repeated over and over again throughout the entire page.
So we've touched on positive thinking already and forgiveness. Forgiveness is tricky, especially being raised in a Christian household. I mean, you're taught to forgive, but I understand it can help lift some burdens, but it's tricky because it's like, oh, well, you punched me in the face. I'm not going to go to you and be like, it's okay. I understand you were going through some stuff. Like, no, I'm going to be mad that I got punched in the face. But you can also look at the aspect that it's not only forgiving other people for wrongs they've done to you, but also forgiving yourself in a way. Like, oh yeah, I did this and it was bad. Recognizing that what you did was bad and then taking further steps to fix it, I think is another form of forgiveness.
Yeah, and you can also forgive without forgetting, which is
Yes.
very helpful. Like you're always taught like forgive and forget, but forgetting is kind of just like it kind of makes an excuse for people doing bad things and like hurting you. Mentally
Yeah.
or physically. But like I've had some like friendships where people said some really bad things and it really like hurt me. But like I was able to forgive them, but I definitely did not forget about it. And I still like hold them accountable for it. Like not I don't talk to them about it, but like my
It can
forgetting.
also, yeah, it can also be a thing of moving on from a situation. Like if you have this one friend that is really just bringing you down every day, you don't really want to be with them. They've done some pretty bad stuff to you. Forgiveness could be a way for you personally to leave this friend in the past in a way to escape the toxicity.
Yeah. I feel like forgiveness is always like associated with like I don't know how to say this, but like forgiveness is always associated with just completely moving on from it and acting as if it never happened.
Mm-hmm.
When that's not how it has to be.
So, laughter is the world's but I feel like these transitions really suck between the different coping mechanisms.
You can always put a little like jingle in there.
All right. Laughter is what's the thing I'm trying to think of that I can't.
Laughter is the best medicine.
Yes, laughter is the best medicine. I so psych word story again. We were maybe I'm making this up. Maybe I have the time period wrong. I don't know. But you just ran away. Great. But oh that's oh you can't even see it with the chair. Did you see mine?
I was like, oh, I forgot to set it up.
I tried to make it not obvious, but obvious enough.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I also have a Christmas tree right there that you can't see.
Oh, you have a Christmas tree?
A fake one. Right
Where?
here. Right there.
I see plants. I don't see a tree. Oh, I think
Oh
I
my
see.
gosh.
I think I see it. Yeah.
That a Christmas tree.
Oh, I thought that was the top of it.
No, it's a little tiny tabletop Christmas tree. Leave me and my little Christmas tree alone. Okay.
It.
Jeanette, I made my book Christmas tree.
Oh yeah.
So, although I have to say, this whole winter break thing is wonky because I'm usually super busy and I just haven't had things to do. And
This
it's
is like
weird because
winter break.
it's weird. I don't like it. I mean, I do like it because you don't have this red exclamation mark over your head. That's like, yeah, schoolwork done. But it's like, what am I going to do with my life? So I've been digging deep into my theology. Anywho, laughter is the best medicine. So I don't remember her name, but it was my discharge day, and we were sitting around this table with this girl. And she said to the room, do you have any helpful advice for Caleb? If you are thinking about going into the field of psychology, if you work in a psych ward, never ask these people for advice.
Nope.
Now, some of the things they said weren't the greatest. Nobody really gave advice. What do you expect? Whatever, I'm fine with it. But we just started laughing. Like they were like, make sure you don't hurt yourself. Good luck out there. And we just would start laughing. And looking back on it, it's a little jarring because it's not okay that it happened, but it was funny at the time and it still kind of is. And she yelled at all of us, and we all kind of got in trouble. And she was like, "This is serious." But I mean, laughter is also a trauma response. So, lose
Well,
lose
there is a
situation.
trauma response, but comedy is a trauma response.
Yes.
Like making light of the situation.
Yes. And it there's some scientific mumbo jumbo to go along with it, like endorphins when you laugh, I don't know, all this fun stuff. But it can, like, there are times when I personally have had a really bad day, and you just sit back, relax, and listen to a comedian, and you're just laughing along, and all of a sudden, like, you don't give a care in the world. Whatever was in your mind is gone. So, that leads me to the question: do you watch comedy, and do you have a favorite comedian?
I don't, because I feel like it's hard to find one that everyone can agree with, because like so many of it is like some this group finds it offensive or this group finds it offensive.
Yeah. I think there's definitely a line with comedy a lot of times, and a lot of times it gets blurred because it's like good comedy will roast a group of people and make fun of them, but at the end of the day you can tell that comedian like really has a heart for those people, if that makes any
Yeah.
sense. So it's a tricky balance. I recently got into Mateo Lane. Don't know if you've heard of him. Wouldn't recommend,
Oh.
but he's funny. I mean, like, wouldn't recommend for kids because a lot of his stuff is very risque, but comedy.
Uh,
Determining an alternative. Do you have anything else you want to say about laughter?
well, like one of the things I remember learning, and I talked about in the psych ward with one of like the shit therapy sessions, I think, was I remember reading somewhere that just forcing yourself to smile will actually lift your mood, which is like it's something scientific about like the muscles that you contract when you're smiling, like send signals to your brain that thinks that you're happy.
Yeah, there's this whole weird science field that involves happiness and how that relates to mental health, among other things.
At least we weren't mid sentence.
No, I just wish I could close my door. That's my Christmas wish. Can I close my door? Can you hear him?
Yeah.
I don't even know what he's doing. He's reciting numbers.
Caleb, I see books in the background that are not on your Christmas tree.
You see what? Oh,
Books in the
well, you know
background
why? You know
Christmas tree.
why?
Why?
These are library books.
Oh,
And these are all
oh, the
CDs.
library books.
But these are all library books. I have out right now Mike Pence's book. A lot of murder mystery ones. This one I want to read, but I haven't yet. Permission to Feel.
Looks good.
But I feel like it's gonna be one of those books that I can't read past noon because I'm just gonna fall asleep.
Oh,
I don't know if I should get on to the next topic or if they're just gonna talk again. Should I go intervene? Say
you can
something.
try.
Say something. Wait, what is it? Loose lips sink ships. I didn't make that up, I swear. All right, I'm back.
Did I hear a door closing?
You did, but it couldn't be mine. I closed the door to their bedroom. Because that can happen, but not mine.
Oh.
You're right. Determining an alternative solution. I feel like we've kind of touched on this before with like the positive thinking.
Yeah, well, I think with one it's like more of a physical alternate solution. Like if you're
Yeah.
thinking like, I want to hurt myself, I want to do worse than that, then you think,
Whoa, content warning. Okay, continue.
uh, then you can kind of like think of something that will help relieve your stress or your pain or whatever's going on without um, going that far.
Yep. I think a lot of this is gonna sound kind of narcissistic, but at the same time not. I think it's society's fault. Like I'm not saying if you hurt yourself or whatever, or this or that, blame it on society. Like, no, that was your decision. You have to deal with the consequences. But I'm talking about like this fast pace, go, 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 go. And it's like when you're going all the time, you don't have a chance to think about your actions or think about the consequences of your actions. You're just
Mhm.
going, going, going. And I think it can be important to just kind of stop and think, like almost not really have an out of body, but like try and picture yourself looking above everything, if that makes any sense, and be
Yeah.
like, what's going on? How did this happen? Because again, if you're consistently going, you never really have a chance to just think about what's happening.
Mhm. Yeah,
So,
like definitely stopping and taking a break can help with a lot of things. Because again, like you said, your mind starts racing and coming up with all these possibilities, and
yeah.
uh, like sometimes you just need to stop and actually take time to think like, what is the reality of my thoughts and what is unrealistic thinking.
Especially, I know with me, the future. A lot of times, the future is a huge cause of my problems. And it's so stupid because it's like, how can this thing that hasn't happened cause my problems now? But it's like, I'll think about what I want to do in life, and then I'll think about college, and then I'll think, how am I going to afford this? And then, am I going to eat food or am I going to starve? And it's like, Caleb, slow down. You are in your house. There is no reason you should be thinking what you are going to eat for breakfast 2 years from now.
Yeah,
I'm
like
not saying that you shouldn't plan ahead in life, but
mhm.
don't let it get to you.
Yeah, like there's a thing. There's planning ahead, and then there's obsessing over the future,
Yes.
which there definitely needs to be a line drawn between that.
And I
And
think that line is different for everybody. Like some people can handle financial things. I need a little bit more time.
yeah, like for me, that comes with school. Like some people can handle like a lot of stress, and I cannot.
Mhm.
Like the slightest bit of stress, and I'm like not physically hyperventilating, like mentally hyperventilating. Does
Yeah,
that make
you're
sense?
just mind's just going psycho.
Yeah, and like I just need to learn. Look, like I have learned it, but I need to know when to stop and like take a break and just calm down.
All right. Finding the good. There's a lot of craziness out there, and we will touch on that in our next episode. Details happening at the end of this one, talking about the future. But there's a lot of crazy stuff happening out there in the world. And there can be times, especially because in the media and news and all that stuff, this crazy, almost negative aspect of life is so highlighted, so blown up, and so out of proportion. It's really all you see about life. And you actually have to go out and seek and find the good.
Yeah, and like I feel like with I don't want to say everything, but with most negative things that there are some like you can find a way to turn it something that you're going through.
Hmm.
No, now I'm thinking of all the ways that that wouldn't work.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I will say, if you ever want to learn about good in the world, go to Netflix, go to documentaries, and watch something about animal babies, and you will cry. And you will be healed because you will see these little cute animal babies.
My English teacher the other day, we were talking about ethos, pathos, and logos, and she was showing us an example of each one. and one of them for pathos was
For those people that have no idea what Jeanette is talking about, those are persuasive arguments, I would say, and logical things that you can stick in there. So, like emotional aspects and personal aspects, right?
yeah,
Am I thinking about that correctly?
logos is logic, ethos
Yeah.
is ethics, and pathos is emotion.
So it's stuff you can stick into an argument or whatever to help you. All right, continue on with your story.
And for the pathos one, which was emotion, she showed us this ad for it was like not an animal shelter. It was like well, I guess it was for an animal shelter, but it was like just a bunch of dogs with like Celine Dion singing in the background, something like that. And it was like we have been. It was like them like talking in first person with like captions being like,
All those the
"We have been
sad
told
music.
you abandoned us. Uh,
Yeah.
we just want to be happy and have a home," stuff like that. And then my English teacher was like, "I can't watch this without crying."
Yeah, I mean it's sad, but it is what it is. I will say, a lot of times it's a marketing thing, as much as I hate to say it, but in this capitalistic society, I mean, you go down to the grocery store and they're like, do you want to pay 15 cents to save starving children in Africa? And it's like, naturally you'd be like, yeah, sure, take my 15 cents, whatever, round up, help these kids with cancer or whoever it is. But they're using it as a tax break. So it's like, they're portraying it as this good thing for the world, but it's masking what's really behind it.
Mm-hmm.
And even with those emotional commercials, yeah, these dogs and animals, whatever, they have been abused. They do need homes, but a lot of it is a money grab.
Yeah, it's just
Not to
these.
sound cold-hearted, but
Like, it would be different if it was coming from somebody other than the animal shelter itself.
yeah.
If it was
I'd
coming
be
from
like,
like somebody who really cares about, like, I don't want to say that the animal shelters don't
yeah,
care.
it's not to say that the animal shelters are bad or they don't care, but it's a money grab. They want your money.
It's like if I went around saying, "Oh, Jeanette's amazing. She's great,"
Yeah.
that would just sound like I'm not saying that for good reasons. But then, like,
It's like when you were running for class president and God was on your other side. All right. Eliciting the help of a counselor or therapist. I think great. And get someone to talk to. Sometimes not great, not every therapist is right for you. You need to find the right one. Otherwise, they're not really going to be helpful.
yeah, like I had a therapist that was really not helpful to me. Like, not that she was not that she had any negative aspects on my life. She was a great person. It just didn't work for me, and it wasn't helping with anything. Um, but so like I didn't really talk to her about things that I wanted to talk about, just because I felt like it just wasn't working, and I didn't really connect with her that well. But when I found this new therapist, it's just like immediately I could just like I felt like I could just tell her everything, which
Yep.
everyone needs someone like that who they can just talk to without guilt or
Fear that they're going to judge them.
yeah.
I would like to clarify I am not a bad person, but I am no therapist. If you're going to come to me with something, I'm going to judge you for it. Like, I'll listen, I'll be supportive, but I'm going to judge you for it.
This is the canned soup argument.
Listen, I would okay. To be honest with you, I would be lying if I said I've never eaten soup out of a can. But it is so salty. It is so gross. You can make your own, and it's so much better. All right. So, yeah, counselor therapist can help you if you find the right person. So if you're out there and you haven't found the right one, keep looking. There's someone out there for you. I'm going to group these next two together: controlled distraction and exercise. So, controlled exercise, pretty simple, right? Running, jumping, working out, all that fun stuff. Controlled distraction is when you do something to distract your mind from whatever's at hand. So, like, you're really stressed out about school, maybe you'll go read a book. you're really stressed out about whatever, go do something else. So I would say this brings us smoothly, easily into our next topic, the difference between a coping mechanism helping and hurting.
Which
Like,
exercise is a great example of this.
what? Yes, exercise. And also controlled distraction. I mean, what are you doing to distract your mind? But so exercise, for example, working out, eating right, great. Good for you. Good job. I personally never going to do it, but if you can do it and you have that motivation, great. But at what point does it become an obsession? At what point are you going to the gym to lose all this weight? At what point are you counting your calories with an obsession? Like counting calories, whatever. Great, go for it. But at what point does it become an eating disorder? You know what I mean? So there's this very fine balance. And again, I think it's different for every person. Like if you are consistently going to the gym 5 days a week, working out like crazy, eating right, good for you. Maybe that's not hurting you, but it could be hurting somebody else. And I think a major, going off on a tangent here, but I think a major part of it is intention. Like, are you going to the gym to better yourself? Are you counting calories to better yourself? Or are you doing it to harm yourself?
Yeah,
That's a
like
good
I saw
thing.
these TikToks once where
Keep
it was
talking.
like people.
Keep talking. I'll be back.
It was people talking about what, like, it was like things you do that you may not realize is self harm. Um, which on some things it's like pretty obvious that it's self harm, but then it was like um I can't remember any examples, but like it was talking about stuff where yes, it could be self harm, but it could also just be an unhealthy habit.
Yes.
And it was like people were in the comments were like, "Oh, I did this. I didn't realize I was self harming." It's like, well,
It's
it's
about
not
intention.
really self harm if you weren't intending to harm yourself.
Like, for example, I bite my nails to the point where they sometimes bleed.
Yeah.
Disgusting. Whatever. Don't ruin our friendship.
No, I
So,
didn't.
like, yeah, it's disgusting. Yeah, I'm harming myself, but I'm not doing it to harm myself. I'm doing it because it's a bad habit. I would love to break it, but it's a process and it's a pain and I'm working through it. But it's not healthy, but it's also not self harm because, again, I'm not doing it to harm myself. It's just a bad habit.
Yeah, and there's some things where like you really can't make an excuse and say like, "Oh, I'm not trying to harm myself,"
Yeah.
but like sometimes it's just your brain trying to tell you that you're doing something fine, but really you're not. Um, but definitely there are things that it's all up to interpretation, whether or not it's self harm or not, and it's all up to you.
And that's also where a therapist or a trained professional can come in because they'll be able to recognize, like, oh, maybe even you yourself doesn't know that you're harming yourself, but they'll be able to tell you and be like, maybe this isn't good. And they'll be able to give you helps, tips, and tricks and coach you into figuring out how to stop this thing for you.
Yeah, some things that like schools say it all the time, and I hate to say it, but like it's true that a trained professional is likely going to be able to help you more than a friend can.
Yeah,
Because like as
that's just
much as
that.
like
But
you may be able to like relate with your friends and feel like you might feel more comfortable talking to them about stuff,
they're not
but
gonna know what to do
yeah, like
or
they're
give it.
definitely gonna try to help you.
Yeah, like, well, I'm a bad example because I don't really try to help people. But like, if you come to me with all your problems, like, great, I'll listen, I'll empathize. But at the end of the day, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a counselor. There's really nothing I can do for you.
Hmm. And sometimes there's there's talking to your friends about your problems, and then there's going too far and
Yeah.
kind of giving them your problems and being like,
Hmm.
I need help, like help me, and then it's like
Hmm.
kind of like putting the pressure on them, which can be very unhealthy.
Yeah, it gets to the point where it's like, all right, great, tell me your deepest, darkest secrets, whatever, we're friends. But at the end of the day, like, you do need professional help. I cannot help you.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry. Good luck.
Yeah, like a professional is they've done the research, they've done the schooling, they've trained their whole life for this, and they know what they can do to help you, and they know better than anybody else
Yep.
what can like improve what's going on in your life.
All right. I just got an idea for another podcast episode, so that's great. Um, so how was this past year of podcasts? We're gonna transition onto the future because pretty soon it will be 2023, which is crazy to think about. It feels like it was just 2020. I don't know where the past 2 years have gone to. I don't remember them well. So, how'd this past year go? How do you think we went? Any highlights? Any lows?
I feel like we've we've gotten better at not saying like.
You know, you say that, but I don't think so. I really
Like
don't. I mean,
I just
not
said
to
it.
be a not to be a Debbie Downer, but editing these episodes, there's quite a lot, and from both of us. So it is still something that we need to work on. But I do think we've definitely improved, at least with our consistency and our ability and our content. I think we're pushing out is better, if that makes sense. Like the first episode 0 was episode 0. It
Yeah,
didn't really. It wasn't great, but
we've gotten a lot better at planning episodes, as seen by our next episode's plan.
yes. Well, you know why? I am so excited for the end of January, and we'll get into this in like a few seconds. But
Yes.
I love politics.
I
So
can tell.
I did feel a little sad that you were taking this away from me, but it fits into the schedule and I'll get next month, so we're going great.
I was
Speaking
actually
of which,
doubting it, and I don't think you'll get next month.
no, I think I do. I think I do.
Oh, you get it by one day.
I get it. So, yeah. So what are we talking about? What is this thing that's happening at the beginning of every month?
We are going to be spilling the tea
Yeah.
of what's going on
It's
in the world and just discussing it and being like, what are our opinions on everything that's going on? And
yeah.
just educating.
Yes. So the first of every month is going to be a let's talk about tea. We're going to cover everything from celebrities to politics to what's going on in the world and what are our thoughts about it. And I think it's important to recognize that we are not educated legally. I'm trying to phrase this. We don't have any degrees in politics. We've never been in politics. We've been around them, some of us more than others, but we're not trained. And I think we are just some Gen Zers going out there into the world and seeing what it's all about. And I think that offers a very unique perspective. We're also down to the ground. We're down with earth. We have friends. We have people that we talk to that know things. And I feel like a lot of people up there sitting on this hierarchy seat of the political tower don't like when was the last time they've worked a minimum wage, yet they're out here voting for minimum wage jobs. Anywho. So yes, that is something very exciting to look forward to, and that will be coming in 2023. Starting, I don't know what the first Monday of January is. Let's take
Second.
a quick look. January 2nd. So that'll be fun. Something cool to look out for. Do you have any fun things that are happening next year for you in your own personal life?
I'm turning 18 next year.
Are you going to go to a club?
No.
Come on. One of my friends did when she turned 18. She went to a club the night of her birthday and had a party. And I was like, you know what? Not my vibe, but good for you.
Yeah, definitely not my vibe. That would be very anxiety inducing.
So you're turning into an adult.
I said, well, I'm not even 17 yet.
Well, no, but you'll be turning 18 in 2023.
Very close to being 2024.
For those that are confused, her birthday is at the very end of the year.
Yeah.
Quite literally.
What's actually happening next year? We're graduating. Wait, no, we're not. That was next school year.
You're yeah, I don't think either of us are graduating
No.
next year.
Even if my goal goes how I'm trying to get it to go when I graduate a semester early, it will still be 2023. 2024. Oops.
Yeah, I graduate 2024, which is psychotic. Me, an adult, me going off to college? Ugh, who thought that was a good idea?
Is it a good idea?
Is it a good idea? I don't know. All right. I guess we'll talk about me. My turn. Enough about you graduating and adulting. I'm gonna try and publish a book this year. I know it sounds crazy because I say that every year and I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna write a novel or whatever. But this year I'm actually gonna do it. And I'm gonna hold myself accountable. What?
You're already doing it.
I am already doing it. I'm in the process of writing it. It's going to be a poetry collection, again, offering a unique perspective because I have nothing about me that's like, woo. Like, I don't have a degree. I'm 16. I don't have life experience. So, yeah, come Pride Month 2023, expect to see some book promos going out. I think that covers it for this episode. Thank you all for joining us for 2022. Can't wait to see you next year.